am Fran Duvall, your host for this segment, and I'm so happy to welcome to the Channel 6 today our Director of Finance, Ron Taylor.
Yes, glad to be here.
When they told me that I was hosting Ron Taylor, the first person I thought of was David Taylor, but then they said finance, and I go, oh, did they move David?
We're doing musical chairs.
He's taller than you are.
Yes, he is.
Well, welcome. And you're Director of Finance. You've been here about 2 years?
Just under 2 years, 18 months.
Yeah.
And so it's actually been a great transition for me. And I almost say transition because time has actually flown by. It's actually been a fabulous time that I've been here. And so much has happened on campus, and it's actually just been a great place. So maybe I'm not in transition anymore, but I'm still using that term.
Well, actually, I've lived here lots of years, and there's always some transition going on, believe me. So it's okay to use that phrase.
Perfect. Yeah, so when I think about the finance group, we actually have a lot going on. We are working to try to make sure that we're providing great customer service to our residents, and we're always looking at ways to really improve that service. And one of the things that we're doing most recently, we're changing the invoice look for our residents. So we have a mock-up of that, and we can actually show that. But the invoice is being modified to make it easier to read. There is a Green Spring logo on the invoice, which was not always there, and it's also in color, and so it actually kind of pops out to make it a little easier to read versus the black and white invoice that previously existed. Additionally, we have expanded the columns, so everything is not as tight on the page, so it's a lot easier to read, along with the fact that there is a perforated page, so it makes it much easier to tear if you're going to be submitting that to us with your payment. And I think the most important thing, we're constantly trying to figure out how can we save money, how can we be more earth conscious, and so we're actually reducing our cost by actually doing double-sided printing, so that if you have a long invoice, it's going to be on the front page and the back page. So it makes it a little more economic for our residents as well as for us on how we're actually printing it. So we're excited about it. It's actually going to be in the very next invoice that's submitted for our residents. That should be really sometimes later this week or early next week.
Right.
And so they'll see that. Outside of that, nothing has changed as far as the presentation of the information there. And so we always want folks to realize that if there are questions, the best place to go for those questions relating to charge of the invoice is really directly back to the department that made that charge. So if it's a dining fee that's in question or a general services fee, going to those specific locations. Because unfortunately, we don't have a lot of insight to do the investigation. We really see the charge just as our residents do. But want to make sure folks understand that.
Right. Yeah.
So.
If they call the finance office because they had an extra dining charge on, you would just refer them back to Phyllis over in dining service.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Now, if ever there's an escalation that a resident is not getting any type of conclusion to, without a doubt, we will always step in and try to assist.
Good.
So, additionally, we are also trying to continue to make things easy for our residents on how they pay their bill. So we're continuing to push our automatic bill payment, which based on our latest figures, 42% of our invoices or invoice dollars are actually paid via our ACH process, or automatic bill payment process. And so it's simply fabulous. It makes it easy for our residents. It makes it a timely process. It takes away some of the administrative activities that our residents have to do, hopefully so they can go on and live an exciting life here and not deal with this kind of the administrative process. But it's really an easy and safe activity for that bill payment process. And I always make sure residents understand you have an opportunity to review that invoice before it's actually paid. So if there are adjustments or things you need to have clarified, that truly will happen before the invoice.
Yeah, they do the transfer out of your checking account later in the month.
Correct.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yes.
From those who do it.
Those that do it.
I don't.
So yes, so typically the The pull from the bank account doesn't happen until the 18th or 19th of the
Okay,
month.
so people
you literally
have time.
have, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a great, it's an easy and safe process, and we always try to make sure that we're making that as convenient for our residents as possible. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a paper saving plus, well, especially if people have home health and home support, those things are usually delineated, by date.
That's correct.
And it could be a long invoice.
Yes, it can. So, always making sure you're flipping it over with this new format makes it very easy to really see it all in one place. But it's definitely there. So we're definitely going to try to make sure we continue to look for enhancements for that invoice process as well. So.
Right.
Yeah.
You're looking for feedback on it?
Oh, without a doubt. We always want feedback.
Okay.
We actually have implemented feedback cards or comment cards that are in the finance office, and we ask our residents, tell us about your experience with the finance team as well overall process. So, we want the positive comments as well as the opportunities that we can do to improve the overall service that our residents are experiencing from us.
Yeah, that's important.
Yep. The other thing that I always want to make sure folks are aware, we have an educational series that we have within the finance team that tries to help educate not only our residents, but their family members on various topics that are really important to them. So we have one form that is called Transitioning to Garden Ridge, and it really helps our independent living residents understand what is that process. What is the impact to me as a person, to me financially, what happens relating to the services that I receive, whether I'm in independent living or if I transition to Garden Ridge. So all of that's identified in our Transitioning to Garden Ridge form. We also have
And that forum, do you have a forum coming up on that?
Our next forum is actually our RCA forum, so the Residents and Care Agreement Forum.
That's the other forum.
Yes, so that actually is targeted for May 18th at 1 o'clock in the Hunters Crossing conference room. And this is only the second time we've done this forum, and it's really designed to help our residents understand what does that contract really entail. For residents that have been here for 10 or 15 years, it was a long time ago when that contract was signed. So we want to make sure folks understand what their responsibilities are, as well as what are our responsibilities as a service provider. So that forum, as I mentioned, is on the 18th. The third forum that we offer is when a resident passes away or moves out of the community. What are their responsibilities again? So all of those are listed. We do a sign-up sheet in the finance office. We ask individuals to register so we can kind of plan for the number of attendants. But all of our feedback is helpful information. We're definitely trying to make sure that there's an education process. We've been being very transparent. So we're really hoping that more and more residents attend, and there are open availability slots for the forum that we have coming on the 18th. So
And all of these, am I correct in that they all include family members? Is that correct?
Without a doubt. And the reason we want family members or powers of attorney to attend is because often they become a voice for our residents at some point in time. So we want them to understand where the responsibilities lie, what the processes are, as they often become an advocate for our residents. So they're always welcome.
I attended one last year, and my son was there, and even though I thought I knew everything, just from the questions other people asked, I said, or my son said, "Did you know that, Mom?" Kind of thing. So it's really, it's a very good thing. I hope I live long enough to have to go to another one.
Well, we definitely want our residents to attend multiple forums because, as you mentioned, there's a question that may be asked that no one ever thought of, and it really provides insight there. So come as often as you'd like, and we want all of our residents to come, and again, bring their family members because it's a definite benefit for them.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you also, in that those forums, the one I attended, you offered opportunity, anyone who wants an individual, tete-a-tete with either Ms. Brown or you or someone in the finance office to go over your specific things.
That's correct.
That can be done in a private meeting.
Exactly.
Rather than in a general meeting like that.
Exactly.
Because that also occurred. You know, somebody, well, my thing says this, my will is this, or whatever, and it's hard to get into the explanations.
Sure. Everyone's situation is very different.
That's right.
So, yeah, the fact that our resident and care agreement has been changed multiple times over the last 10 to 15 years, everyone's situation is very different. So we do invite our residents, stop by the finance office. You can walk in or you can make an appointment, and we'll gladly pull your file. We'll identify what documentation is there. We'll help you understand what it means to you and your family, and are there things that are missing that would be beneficial to have added, whether it's a will, whether it's a trust, whether it's a change in your beneficiaries. All of that is immediately available for you, and we can walk you through that in the finance office.
Right. That's really important for our residents.
It is.
To go through that process. Didn't you have a third thing? Let's see. The invoices, the forums, and
I think those are the big things. Wanted to make sure
they were
existed.
the big things.
But
yeah.
you know, for us, we always are soliciting feedback. We recognize that we have the privilege of working in our residents' homes, and so we want to make sure that the service is being provided, it's meeting expectations. So we're always asking for feedback. So stopping in, giving us feedback on the comment cards is, I almost want to say this mandatory, but it's definitely desired.
I just remembered the third thing.
Oh, please share.
That you can use your credit cards in the. There was a third thing.
There was. You're absolutely right. So earlier this year we implemented the ability to use major credit cards on campus within all of our dining venues, as well as within the country stores, as well as if you're using or doing any custom interior work through our general services team, being able to bill that to a credit card as well. And so it really provides a ease of payment for those types of activities. Unfortunately, I know some individuals ask, can I pay my monthly service fee on that? And at this point, you cannot. But really, most of your other charges can be billed directly to a credit card.
Early on, I mean, we were always saying to each other, well, I would stop in the store and do this, but you know what? I don't have any cash on me. Now, we always know we can put it on our resident number, but we don't carry money around. In fact, we don't carry credit cards around. But now that we know, if we're bringing a guest in, we don't want to use our flex plan or whatever, it's nice to know.
That's correct.
That we can use a credit card for that.
That's correct. And we actually look at the number of individuals that are using the credit cards, and it's constantly rising. So I think the first month